Annette, 11 a.m. weekdays, UK, and it is time for the UK business and coronavirus update. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I do very, very much appreciate it as always. For those of you that are new to me, if you do not know what I share, if you have not caught any of my live AMs with Annette sessions before, I am speaking all about UK business and coronavirus updates. What I do not cover is anything health related at all. That is not part of my remit. I am not a doctor, so I will not be covering anything health related. My name is Annette Ferguson. I am CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I'm a chartered accountant and certified profit first professional. I help business owners take home more money from their business, from them and their families to enjoy. Of course, at the moment for many businesses, that can be incredibly challenging, which is why in part I decided to do these daily live sessions weekdays at 11 a.m. to support you and your business both during this time and of course beyond as well. Good morning, Frank from Florida. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. It's lovely to see you. Good morning again, Jason. Thank you for hopping on. Good morning, Mohammed. Thank you for joining me. Some maybe do, Mohammed, but I am not here to discuss the health aspects of coronavirus in any way. Incidentally, if you're in the UK, I'm also not going to be discussing Dominic Cummings in any way either. Those things are not within my remit. This is all around UK business and coronavirus. So that is what we are going to be covering off today. Good morning, Polly Paul. Thank you for tuning in again. It's a pleasure to see you. Good morning, Diva. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who is joining me live, and I do appreciate that very, very much. I'm going to take a drink of my tea and then we're going to get into it. So the first thing that I have to speak about today is the Chancellor has authorised bailout plans called Project Birch to save strategically important companies. That is basically for businesses who are drowning in debt. They will act to save those companies whose failure would, and this is a quote, disproportionately harm the economy. So they are looking at an increased capacity of the Treasury to handle bespoke bailouts of, again, quoting, viable companies which have exhausted all options, including government loan schemes. This will be for all sectors. We're expecting things like steel, for example, to be included in this kind of things, potentially some of the major airlines as well. So that is what has been announced, Project Birch by the Chancellor, by the Treasury, which is bespoke bailouts for businesses that are should they fail, it would be disproportionately harmful to the UK economy. So that has just been announced, that project. Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Cub4. Good morning, everyone who is tuning in. Good morning, Rob Matthews. Good morning, Mayday. Thank you for tuning in today. This is your UK business and coronavirus updates that I am covering off today. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. There are fears that businesses could face paying billions in loans just as they are trying to recover from this pandemic. Business leaders and policymakers are questioning whether rescue packages that the government has put in place to save businesses might eventually prove their undoing by creating an unsustainable mountain of debt. This is something that I have been discussing a lot, in that if you are taking on debt in your business just now, making sure that you understand that it's done strategically, making sure that there is a plan, making have planned out what that will look like via a profit plan. So making sure that you really do understand that. Now, if you are in that position and you're not quite sure what to do and how to plan that out, I am actually hosting the Wealth Lab Building Your Implementable Profit Plan in my Facebook group this week. That kicks off later today at 1:30 UK time. So it is not too late to register for that if you want to. If you have a UK business, if you are thinking, how on earth do I get this profit plan together? What does that look like? How do I make sure that my debt is I'm going to have the money to repay it? All those kinds of things. And you can join me. You can head to annetteandco.co.uk/TWL to join me on that today. I would love to have you there. If you can't remember that link or it's too crazy, just head over to Facebook and type in the Uncover Wealth Community. It'll take you into the Facebook group, and I'll be able to tag you in the link to register there instead. So do that, please, please, please. If you're wondering about how to build a profit plan, if you're wondering, okay, how on earth do I set up my business to ensure that I am going to have the money in order to debt? So there we go. Good morning, Jamie. Thank you for tuning in to me. That's so kind of you. I love your kind words, Jamie. That means a huge amount. So I do very much appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who is tuning in. Good morning, Stacey. Good morning, JJ. Thank you for tuning in to me today. This is your UK business and coronavirus update that I do weekdays at 11 a.m. UK to try and support you during this time and, of course, beyond. So thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate all the follows, the likes, the loves, the hearts, all those things I very, very much appreciate. So thank you so much for all of those, whichever platform you are on. I very, very much do appreciate it. And good morning, Lisa, as well. Thank you for tuning in too. So following on from that discussion around fear that businesses are facing big loan issues, we are going to see a cash crunch happening with companies, and it will continue beyond, because at some point the VAT holiday will end. At some point, the leniency on payment plans for taxes will end. We've got January 2021 personal tax payments due for profits that were made before this even started. Those payments will be due come January. We'll then have loan payments kicking in. We'll have staff coming off furlough. So I firmly believe that this period of time for the vast majority of people and businesses is not actually going to be the hardest in terms of the cash requirement and the cash crunch on the business. I think we're going to have a really, really big issue come Q3, Q4, and Q1 of next year when all these things start to kick in within a business. It's going to cause massive, massive cash issues, and we need to plan and be prepared for that. We need to have that mapped out. We need to really understand what needs to happen in our business strategically in order to see us through these massive cash crunch periods that are coming up. And that is, of course, why I am running the Wealth Lab Building Your Implementable Profit Plan this week as well. So that is a big, big issue, and I will be covering that in much more depth within those sessions. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Tia. Good morning, Freya. Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, Jump Up Dance. Good morning, 24 Days of Fashion. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, Jamie's saying not looking forward to January. I agree, Jamie. That period is going to be incredibly challenging for many businesses and, of course, individuals as well. Very, very difficult times coming up, and in all honesty, probably much harder than we're currently experiencing from a financial perspective. Of course, hopefully from a health perspective, easier, but from a financial perspective, it's going to get much, much harder. Good morning, Stacey. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Good morning, Aaron to Aaron. Good morning, Andrew Barber. Thank you for tuning in. So the government has urged companies to avoid damaging lawsuits and to resolve contractual disputes relating to COVID-19 through mediation before rushing to the courts. There are concerns that the civil courts will be clogged with a flood of lawsuits, and they have said judges will be taken into account when they are looking at cases and the conduct of businesses leading up to the cases appearing in court as to whether mediation has been attempted by both sides and people have tried to come to amicable agreements. That is going to be viewed as part of the judge's information when they are looking at those claims. So that's something to note. You know, I have been speaking a lot about how I believe that there are going to be big legal issues after this in terms of health and safety for people in the workplace, in terms of discrimination around furlough, not to mention things like benefits fraud, which we know is happening just now, both furlough fraud and for universal credits, all those kinds of things. I think there's going to be a lot of fallout with legally with the situation that we are having at the moment as well. Jamie saying, I know that higher education is set for a lot of redundancies. Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. Redundancies will be starting to pile in now. There's going to be a lot that we're going to start seeing as well, as furloughs starts to get pulled back as well, which I'm going to speak about shortly too. So the April figures have shown a rise in the UK government's borrowing and debt, the highest level in 57 years. Cash surpluses in April 19 were 9.8 billion. That's a surplus. And they are now at a deficit of 63.5 billion. So a drop in 73 billion pounds worth of cash there for the UK government in terms of the UK's borrowing and debt. We also saw the largest single month deterioration since records began in 1984. So again, pretty dire economic information for the government, for all of us, really, in terms of our economy and what that looks like. We also have over 8 million jobs furloughed, which has claimed £11 billion so far. We might expect that more people might be coming onto that over the next few days as payroll then gets processed and furlough claims then get processed for May as well for people who are doing monthly payroll. So we may expect this 8 million jobs number to increase again over the next few days. We've also seen 2 million SEISS claims, that is for the self-employed, worth around £6 billion. So between the two of those, 8 million jobs furloughed and 2 million self-employed claims, that's an incredible number of people that potentially we just don't know what will happen to their roles and positions in the future and whether they will actually have any jobs to come back to, whether they are the hidden unemployed, term that has been used very often as well in different ways by different people, but to all intents and purposes saying that as well. So we are hearing that over £450,000 worth of business bounce back loans worth 14.1 million have been approved. Of course, we have heard that a number of banks have issues, namely HSBC and Barclays, to be two of the worst offenders with getting these loans approved and out. But over 450,000 have been, which is a pretty incredible number, along with over 40,000 CBILS loans worth £7.2 billion have also been approved. So there is some cash coming to businesses now, thankfully. Some are saying not in the form that they would wish. They would rather have grants than have debt that they have to service. And we've just spoken about that, the servicing of the debt. And some are saying that it's not enough, but there is at least some cash flowing, which is, of course, better than nothing at all. There have been, as I said, the furlough scheme is changing a little. Furlough in its current state. So the furlough scheme, being the job pension scheme, in its current state takes up to the end of July. Beyond that, August to October, there will be changes to that system. There are provisional plans drawn up which will require employers to cover 20 to 30% of the furlough wages from August, and also the employer's NI. Nothing has been formally agreed on that yet, but that is what is in discussions at the moment, and that's what they're drawing up at the moment as well. So the employers would pay the 20 to 30%. The government would top up to the 80%, and that is kind of how they are seeing it working. So, good morning, Michelle. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me today. Good morning, Rich. Good morning, Ben Watson. Good morning, Sophie Thomas. Good morning, KK Dance. Good morning, Liv. Good morning, Timmy Stevens. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me this morning. This is AMs with Annette, UK business and coronavirus updates. So thank you for tuning in. Barry is asking CBILS loan. It's C. It's a C. Barry, CBILS, Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme is what it stands for. CBILS is the term that many people are giving it, but it is the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme that it is. That's its official title. So the travel industry are calling for the government to extend the time period in which holiday firms must refund customers, or they will risk huge job losses. Now, the travel industry has come under a bit of criticism with this for not refunding customers fast enough. At the moment, they are legally obliged to refund within 14 days. But what I've been hearing from many people who are due refunds from holiday companies is that is not actually been happening. The travel firms are saying it's impossible at the moment to pay out, and Which have reported that out of the UK's 20 biggest airlines and holiday firms, they are required at the moment, have outstanding refund payouts of £7 billion. Now, the argument is that they can't possibly afford to make all these refunds because they don't have the cash. The thing is, people have paid for these holidays. This is money out of people's bank accounts. And what have the holiday companies been doing with that cash that was for those holiday and those flights? It's very difficult to argue that they can't pay it back because they've spent it when it comes to consumers' money. So that is a big problem with the holiday industry at the moment over that as well. You are welcome, Barry. No problem whatsoever. Good morning, Rohit. Good morning, Torin. Good morning, Shama. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me this morning. Good morning, Sue, as well. Thank you for tuning in. So, negative interest rates. This is something we are still seeing bumbling on. We are still seeing in the discussion phase. It is still being discussed by the Bank of England as to whether we do end up with negative interest rates in the UK. Of course, the positive side is that it forces banks to lend, which encourages growth by boosting investment and spending. However, do we really want to be saddling people with more debt? Do we really want to encouraging that? And we also have the problem that it devalues the currency. The pound, as I reported last week, is already incredibly weak. It's the weakest of the G10 countries, and it is going to weaken further if we move to a negative interest rate position as well, which is not a great position, particularly Brexit finalization, etc., with an incredibly weak pound, not the position we want to be in as a country. So some big problems there as well with having negative interest rates too. So it's a very difficult one. Those are all the points that I wanted to cover off today. If anyone has any questions on this, please do let me know in the comments. Please do, and I will answer any of those questions around UK business and coronavirus. So please do let me know. Hey, Chris Dunn, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Jamie, it does encourage investment, which is at least something positive. It's a very, very difficult balancing act for the policymakers and for the Bank of England, etc., when they're deciding what route to go down with this, with trying to stimulate the economy, with trying to get it moving again. Because of course, we've already said that even if they do encourage spending, people are still going to be nervous. They're losing their jobs. They may not want to spend, and so getting this economy moving again is going to be very, very challenging, not to mention the issues that many businesses have around extra costs for PPE, extra costs for putting social distancing measures in place, extra costs around being able to serve less people in one go. Is it even viable? Are they better with their doors closed rather than open and loss making? So a lot of things still going on with that sphere, and it's difficult to kind of get our way out of that as well. So Barry's asking if I think the SNP should still go for independence. Barry, I am certainly not wanting to branch into politics in this, what my view is on independent Scotland and the SNP at all. Your question also presumes that you say, do I think that they should still go for independence? Whether or not I thought that originally is up for debate too. So not going to be commenting on the political side of things at all. That is not why I am here. Let's see if we've got any questions. No gains from pounds sitting in the bank. Absolutely not, Jamie. We have if we've negative interest rates, in fact, you'd be charged for savings. So it would penalise savers with a negative interest rate. Let's see what we have got. Do we have any other questions coming through? Do let me know if you have any other questions. I will take a sip of my tea whilst anyone does that who has questions on this matter. Do let me know. I am back, of course, again at 11 a.m. tomorrow, 4 a.m. with Annette. Again, UK business and coronavirus updates, which I am doing every single weekday on whichever platform you might be watching on, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook or within the Uncover Wealth community, my Facebook group, which I invite you all to join. You are more than welcome to join me in the Uncover Wealth community. You just need to go to Facebook and type Uncover Wealth community in the search bar to come and join me in there. Good morning, Joey. Thank you for tuning in. I do very much appreciate it. So, like I mentioned before, I am hosting the Wealth Lab, Building Your Implementable Profit Plan, all this week. It is a daily live where I am live Monday to Friday, 1:30 p.m. UK, and I am talking you through step by step exactly how to build your profit plan in your business. And you absolutely can do it now. You absolutely should be doing it now to get into the best position your business can be as we are in recession, as we come out of lockdowns, and as businesses start to move again. This is speaking about strategy and it's speaking about financial strategy. And I would love if you want to join me there. You can register by going to annetteandco.co.uk/TWL. If you are not sure about that and you want the link, just pop me a DM in whichever platform you are watching this in. I will pop that across to you. I'm more than happy to do that. Or you can come into the Uncover Wealth community in Facebook and you'll find the link in there as well. It's in there a few times, so you'll be able to the link in there too and join in the sessions as well. Jason is saying, if the banks go to negative interest rates, won't people just pull out their cash? Well, that's what they want, Jason. They want you to take out their cash and your cash and spend it in the, you know, they don't want you to take it out and put it under the bed, but they do want you to take it out and spend it. That is what one of the things that negative interest rates would encourage is spending. And that is part of the purpose of having negative interest rates, is to encourage spending. So yeah, absolutely. Good. Barry says you'll get the political stuff. I appreciate that, Barry. Thank you. There we go. Any more questions that we have coming through? Let me just check. I cannot see any more coming in. So like I say, I will be back weekdays at 11 a.m., whichever platform you are watching this on. So do come and join me. Pop it in your diary. If you are running a business, do join me for the profit plan this week inside the Uncover Wealth community. I would love to have you there. Just type in Uncover Wealth community into the search bar in Facebook, or you can go to annetteandco.co.uk/TWL, standing for the Wealth Lab, so TWL, and you'll be able to register for that as well, and you'll get the link to the group and everything in your inbox. So thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate your time as always. I know it's incredibly precious, so thank you for spending some of it with me. I very much appreciate the follows, the loves, the likes, the hearts, the whichever platform you are on and whichever mechanism there is in there. I very, very much do appreciate it. So thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.